So in the hospital, I had the lactation consultants. I called them a few times. They literally just handle your boobs in a way that you're like, what are you doing? Like, that's my boob. Like, please don't squeeze that hard. Please don't like. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you hear some noise going on in the background throughout this video, my daughter is roaming around down here and I'm keeping an eye on her. But I'm still figuring out what I'm doing here on this channel. I don't know. I don't really care, honestly. I'm just putting things out there that I feel like will bring value, and that's the kind of videos that I like to watch. Like, I'll watch someone who covers all different areas of life as long as they know what they're talking about. So I feel like I know what I'm talking about in this area, which is why I want to film this video today. And that is my breastfeeding journey. Me and Grace have been successfully breastfeeding for over a year now. It was cool because I just kept thinking back to the day she was born and how horrible and how dark I felt in this one area, because breastfeeding just seemed like a journey that I wanted to cut off at like 6 or 8 weeks. I only wanted to breastfeed for as long as was necessary, and even still, I was like thinking about formula day one. So this video is in no way meant to make others feel bad. I'm just saying what we've done. But anyway, yeah, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was just that whole first day experience when you feel that first latch on your nipple. Like, I think I let out a good little shriek, because when they latch, they are just like sucking so hard. If you have like a good latcher or a good nurser, which Grace was right away, had an extremely powerful suction, and she just latched really quickly, and then the milk came in, or the, what's it called, the colostrum. And I don't know, it hurt really bad. It was a strange sensation because before that, you've only ever like sexualized your boobs as a woman, because that's all you've known them to be for, is to like be with your husband, or you try to cover them, or you try to get them out in the open because you're trying to get attention, like, or you just like having your boobs out, whatever. So before nursing, that was my only experience with boobs. I had never really thought about them in the way that they were actually intended to be used. And so that whole mind thing is just a little bit strange, but here I am totally on the other side of that. Boobs are awesome. They know what they're doing. They are very resilient. They do the job, and they are a comforting place for your baby. And I'm so grateful to have experienced breastfeeding, because it's just been a really sweet bond, as most women talk about. And I don't want you to think I'm weird right off the bat. Like, I'm not one of those people who wants to breastfeed till they're even 2 or 3 or 4. Like, no way. Like, hopefully this will be over soon. It's been great, but you know, it's time to grow up and move on. She has teeth now. I can feel those teeth sometimes. So I'm not trying to like be super weird about breastfeeding. This is just a factual video. So yeah, I remember those first few latches in the hospital. I cried through a few of them, and one of the nurses was like, "Oh honey, I remember it. I remember it just makes you want to slap your baby." And I was like, yes, like that's exactly how you feel. Like, you just want to slap the thing that's giving you the pain, but you can't, because that goes against all your other instincts to protect that new little human that you have. So in the hospital, I had the lactation consultants. I called them a few times. They literally just handle your boobs in a way that you're like, what are you doing? Like, that's my boob. Like, please don't squeeze that hard. Please don't like pinch it and like I don't know. They just did so many things. And that was a weird part of like just getting over your like modesty and inhibitions in the hospital. They just do whatever with your body. They're pushing on your stomach. They're checking your vagina, just everything. Childbirth is a really great experience for someone who is like very private, because you just don't have that option, and you come out on the other side okay. So I came into the hospital with my Earth Mama nipple butter and my Earth Mama perineal spray. Like, it was great having those things, okay? Like, I spent the $20-$30 on it. But if I'm being honest, you can just skip that. I will be skipping that with baby number 2 or 3, because it's just not necessary. Because you need nipple cream everywhere, because you're gonna lose it because it's so small. So you might as well just get the cheap little bottles of lanolin, or get the little bottles, and the hospital will give you plenty. And if I'm being super honest, it doesn't even help that much. So I never got cracked, bleeding nipples, like not once, only because Grace's latch was really, really good. I didn't have to deal with that. But I thought that the nipple cream would bring some kind of relief, but there's just no relief until your nipples toughen up, which sounds so sad. But yeah, like, just don't count on finding any relief. It's just gonna hurt for a bit, and this too shall pass. You will get through it. Okay, yeah, and so then the next thing that I have on my list is the nipple shield. So when we came home from the hospital, I immediately started to use the nipple shield on my right boob because my right nipple was like a little bit more inverted. Yeah, my left boob was the boob that she favored. My right one just had some issues, but the nipple shield helped to correct that. So if you have an inverted nipple now, keep feeding the baby on that boob. They say, like, if your baby's showing favoritism toward one boob, you need to really work on the other one. That way they don't just start rejecting it. And I really wanted to have even boobs, so I worked hard to make sure that if we fed on the left, we fed on the right for the equal amount of time. Or they say to put a hairband on your wrist so that you know which boob you need to feed on next. And I followed that rule. But I also used the baby tracker app, which was huge. Highly recommend. I tracked every single feeding because I was just freaking out. I didn't know if she was getting enough because you can't see what's coming out of your boob. She was consistent. Like, every time she fed for 5 to 7 minutes, and that was it. So you might have like a 15-20 minute feeder. That's okay. That's completely normal. I thought my baby wasn't getting enough because she was so efficient with her nursing. She got a full feeding in 5 minutes, and that stressed me out, but that's how we worked. And I realized that she was just a fast nurser. And if you got blessed with one of those, then just count your blessings because it might not happen for the next one. Okay, so highly recommend the baby tracker app to keep track of each feeding and the diapers and their naps. The next thing I highly recommend is a Haka or the little hand pump. I would keep one in the diaper bag in case my boobs were feeling a little bit tight and engorged and Grace was sleeping, and I would just pop one on there and get some relief. And it helps with keeping your supply up because you can put the Haka on one boob while your baby's feeding on the other. But I'm just going to be really honest with you, that didn't work so great for me. I guess I had an oversupply from the start, which everyone does because your boobs have to regulate. But the Haka just caused so much more milk to be produced than necessary, and it was causing me to have to pump sometimes at like 3 a.m. or sometime midday, and I just didn't need that much milk because I shoot weddings for a living, and I got back to shooting like 30 or 40 days after Grace was born, and that meant that I had to go pump multiple times throughout that wedding day, and that just wasn't ideal. The Hakas, I recommend them for the quick relief so that you don't have to have a pump around, and I recommend them to catch your letdown. I had a ridiculous letdown. My letdown was so freaking strong. It would just squirt Grace in the face, and we would just sit there or like put a towel or a burp cloth there to keep her dry. And then my other boob had ridiculous letdown. Like, my whole shirt would be soaked if I didn't have the Haka on that side. So recommend that for catching the letdown. That way it doesn't go to waste. And then the breast pump that I used was the Spectra breast pump, the pink one. I highly recommend you get the blue one. I haven't personally tried it, but the thing that I regret about getting the pink one was that it's only outlet compatible. So it's only electric. It doesn't have the option for batteries, which the blue one has the option for batteries. So if I do this second time around with another baby, you qualify for a free breast pump with your insurance. Most people do. So I got a free breast pump through my insurance. And ask me questions about that if you have any questions. Do it. Don't waste your money on a breast pump. Like, you'll get a $200 breast pump for free in the mail, and then you'll also get replacement parts like a few months afterward. So I wish I would have gotten the blue one. That's what I'll be doing next time. And I used that breast pump a lot. I used it so much in the beginning. My supply, like I said, was pretty over what Grace needed. So I had a pretty good freezer stash in the first 4 to 5 months that she was born. And I just used the Lancino, I think that's the brand, milk bags from Target. They're like $11 for a box of a ton of them. I still have a huge box that I'll use later with another baby probably. I didn't get too much into thinking about fore milk and hind milk and the letdown. You just have to trust that what your body is doing is good and right for your baby, because there are receptors in your nipples, like the pores of your nipples, read the baby's saliva, and it makes the milk like in some crazy magical way. It's just cool what God did with our bodies. So I was so like mind effed at the beginning, just like thinking and obsessing about what was wrong and why she wasn't sleeping through the night. It had nothing to do with her feedings. She was getting plenty of feedings, but it had everything to do with just the fact that I have a very active, overstimulated baby. She's just an awake baby. She doesn't like to sleep that well. So I'm here while I'm filming this video. Hey! You're okay? Okay, we're gonna wrap this video up quickly. So yeah, I started going down the track of doing too much research on the quality of milk, and guys, just don't even go there unless a doctor has expressed some concern to you. You really don't need to think about it because our bodies do the thinking for us. And I'll say that's a benefit to me going overseas twice, going to Africa, was seeing the way that motherhood works in a third world country, in that their babies have to breastfeed. Like, there's not really an option. And I feel like in the US we have so many options. We have so many ways that we can, like, don't take this wrong, but we can like cop out. And I wanted to so bad. I just wanted to use the other options that were available instead of just trusting my body. But every time I brought it up with my husband, I would be crying, I would be stressed out, and he would say, no, like, your body's fine. You need to stop worrying about it. So that's when prayer came in, and I literally, anytime I got anxious about Grace's feedings or thinking that she wasn't getting enough, which was such a lie because this girl gained plenty of weight all throughout the first, I mean, she's still gaining weight, great. She's on solids now, she's over a year old, but up until 6 months, her weight was phenomenal. Like, on the chart, it was going steadily up just like it should have been. So every time that I stressed out against the facts, like what I was stressing over wasn't even factual, because the data did not support it, I would just pray. I would say, Lord, please provide enough for my baby tonight. Please provide enough for my baby during this feeding. Like, in the particular feedings that I was feeding her, I was praying that she would get all that she would need, that she would get all the nutrients that she needs, and that she would not like end up empty. And I didn't know it. Like, the worst fear for me was her sucking on an empty breast, and I just didn't know it. Prayer was huge. I prayed that my supply would stay strong. I prayed that I would have enough and extra, and I feel like God really answered my prayers in that. And I just kept the mindset of like the third world women. Like, they have to feed their babies. I have to feed my baby. It's just not even an option. So I just trusted my body. And one of the greatest bits of advice that a friend gave early on when I was in the sleep deprivation and everything, our church provided meals for us through different families. They would like drop off a meal. I was expressing like, I don't know if she's getting enough. Like, it was just this constant battle in my mind. She said, oh honey, don't worry, boobs and babies are resilient. And I was like, what? Like, okay, so like they're resilient. Like, she this girl in particular didn't know that she had been pregnant for like 5 or 6 months. And she had drank alcohol, she had ridden roller coasters, she had done some things that you just shouldn't do when you're pregnant, because she didn't know she was pregnant. She was shocked to find out that she had like a 5-month-old baby in her womb when she finally found out. And so then all the fear set in because she had been doing all these things that aren't healthy for pregnancy, but she ended up having a beautiful, healthy baby girl who is now like 8 years old or something. So I say all that to say, our bodies know what's going on. They have defense mechanisms. Your baby's body has defense mechanisms. They're all working together in this beautiful cycle that we can't even control anyway. So why would we try to control it with our Western mindset? I really feel like the Western mindset is what just F's it all up in your mind, that you think you have some bit of control. Like, okay, drink your water, eat a little bit of oatmeal, but don't overdo it. Like, there are girls who do keto and still have a great milk supply. The thing that breast milk is made out of mostly is water, so just make sure you're not gypping yourself on your water. But even on the days when I wouldn't drink enough water and I shot a wedding all day long and I wouldn't be able to pump and I would have missed some feedings with what Grace would have done, my boobs still made it through, and I still had plenty to keep feeding her over the months ahead. So give yourself some grace, take a deep breath. It's not all stressful. Just trust. And that's what I'm going to do second time around. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you have to supplement with formula, or you have to give them some sort of help from something, or you have to get some breast milk from a bank or something, it's not the end of the world, because like everyone says, at the end of the day, fed is best, and I totally agree with that. Like, no shame in any of that. Oh, nursing covers. I tried a few. The ones that work the best are the kind with the like wiry thing that kind of like hold it out away from you, so that way you can see what the heck you're doing. I sucked at that because I work from home. I was able to feed Grace at the house all the time. So whenever we went out in public, it was just such a pain for me to like cover everything up. And Grace was like, what the heck is this thing? Like the whole cover. She didn't know what was going on. Grace is about to use the tripod to walk, so that's why it's going to be shaking. What are you doing? Oh, wow. Okay, a few more things and then I'll wrap this video up. But nursing bras. Got these early on. I got these when I was like 36 weeks pregnant, because your boobs are huge at the end of your pregnancy and you need something that is comfortable. And I went ahead and just bought nursing bras because I knew I'd be using those. I bought the extra large in this Auden brand that Target carries. Highly recommend. I won't be buying any other nursing bras. You could tell me that there's some awesome nursing bra out there that just changed your life, but I'm not going to listen, because these Auden ones are honestly the best. Like, this black one is wonderful. I also had a light pink one. The straps are super thick and supportive, but they don't hurt because they're nice and wide, so they don't cut into your shoulders. You have so many options for the band. Like, there's the rose right here. Yeah, there's like so many options. You can go as tight or as wide. These are now too big for me because I'm a year postpartum, so they're just not as tight as they need to be. And they're lightly padded, which is nice because you don't want a lot of padding when you're breastfeeding. You just don't need it. And the clips are just well made, easy to find in the dark when you're tired, when your baby's in your arm. You can clip it very quickly. I've had some, especially my what's it called, pumping bra, which I'll show that here too. I loved my pumping bra. I would wear it all day on wedding days, but the clips to clip the thing back in were so annoying. Very difficult to do whenever you're holding a baby or something. So these clip real nice. The click is satisfying. I would say this, I probably got up to like a triple D at my fullest breast size, so really make sure you buy a larger size than what you think if you're buying them before your milk comes in. Okay, and then the other one that I got is this purple one. I'm not going to show too much, but this one, phenomenal, also by the Auden brand, but this is the more like, it has an underwire, and it just feels like, you know, if you're gonna go out at night with your husband. All right, you guys, homegirl hurt her little fingers, so I had to go take care of that. She keeps closing it in the drawers, which she had her 1 month checkup today, and the doctor kept saying that, you know, they're bound to get bumps and bruises in this stage, but to trust that they have thick skulls and that these little bumps and stuff are fine, but it's still, ugh. But these drawers in here, she just is prone to closing her fingers in the drawers. But can I have a drink? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to cover a few things that can really mess you up at the start, and that is thinking that you need a bunch of like supplements or help, like these vitamins. I bought into the whole marketing of Legendary Milk, which I think they're a great company. I love their Instagram. They provide a lot of information. I followed them while I was breastfeeding, but it's just such a world of breastfeeding. Like, it's just so deep and rich with information, and like TMI most of it, because my goodness, if you've seen some of those videos on their Instagram, it's kind of like frightening. But I bought some of their like supplements that, it was called Pump Princess, and like the main ingredient was like cumin, I don't remember, something that is known to like, oh, and fenugreek or whatever, I don't know. I took them for like a week, and then I was like, I'm over this, like my milk is fine, I don't need this. So I would just say the main thing that you need is water and calories. I made sure not to work out super hard at the start of nursing. It can cause you to have a dip in your supply, and I just want to say, don't get super caught up in the marketing. You can spend endless amounts of money on any baby related item. If you are worried about your baby's sleep, you could spend thousands of dollars trying to get them to sleep and they still might not sleep. If you're worried about your boobs, you could spend hundreds of dollars on nursing bras and pumps and supplements and lactation cookies and lactation consultants and weighing your baby after a feed and whatnot. You can just go so deep into these things, or you can trust your body also. So I'm going to try to do that a lot better the second time around. I'm not saying we're pregnant, we're not trying, thank God, like we need some time. We're grateful for this little nugget, but I need a minute. I'm getting my body back into shape and I'm trying to build a little bit more onto my business, and then I definitely want baby number 2, just not yet. So I will take all of these tips with me into the future. Oh, huge one. Let's finish off with this tip because I forgot. Mom brain. Eat, wake, sleep. Huge. And I've talked about this before in like my postpartum video, I think. But the Taking Care of Babies program, which I do recommend, their 0 to 3 month program if you don't know anything about babies, it was very helpful. $80 well spent because it just helped me with the basics. I didn't know that you needed to swaddle a baby and shush them and white noise and dark rooms, all of that. But easy. She uses the acronym EASY. The old school version from BabyWise is Eat, Wake, Sleep, but she uses the acronym EASY, Eat, Awake, Sleep, You. Huge. This is revolutionary, and that is you need to feed them after they wake up. You do not feed them to sleep. There are some special times when you need to feed your baby to sleep because they're hysterical and the only thing that calms them down is nursing, but don't get into a habit of that. I'm so glad we didn't do that with her. She is sleep trained and she sleeps beautifully through the night. She has been for at least 6 or 7 months now. She hit the 4-month sleep regression pretty hard and we had to do that's when I really started sleep training her. But feeding after they wake up is huge because she was falling asleep on the boob at the start and not getting adequate feeding, so she would only sleep for like 15 minutes at a time, wake up, want to feed, sleep for 5 minutes, wake up, want to feed, when really a newborn can have a 2-hour nap and it's totally fine. And they stay awake for 45 minutes. So we followed the Eat, Awake, Sleep, so EASU. The Y is you, and that's crucial. This video is not really about that, but the you part is you take care of you while they're sleeping. You do something that you need to do, whether that's go to the bathroom, make yourself some food, take a shower, read a book, film a YouTube video, like however far along you can get. And I still follow that. She only has 1 nap a day, but when she wakes up, she eats and she plays, and when she goes down for her nap, I take care of a bunch of things that are me related, do clean the house, whatever, do things for my husband. I do let her nurse before bed now because it's just our last time together in the day. She doesn't fall asleep on the boob, so I don't have to worry about it. She has no issues going down in her crib without being rocked or without being nursed, so it's not like I'm really spoiling her, but we do just nurse at the end of the day. So anyway, like I said, guys, this was a long video. I hope it's had some information in it that could help you. There's that baby. Oh, I hope it helped you. This is my sweet little 1-year-old. She is a handful now, and she's getting her personality. Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up. Can you do the itsy bitsy spider? The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Watch the spider up. Ticka 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 ticka. She got very adamant about rejecting her feedings after she started taking solids at 6 months. Are you fake coughing? So yeah, she had no issues communicating to me that she wanted to move on from a few of her feedings. And at first it kind of hurt my feelings because I was like, what the heck, like you're pushing me away and you're screaming, crying, like that's rude. But it was her way of telling me like I don't need a feeding right now, kind of like right now, a little attitude. Oh goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh. So yeah, trust your body. Your boobs are resilient. Your milk isn't all going to go away in one day. Just stay on top of your water. Stay on top of your feedings with them. The more they feed, the more your boobs will produce the next day. So yeah, I just want to finish this video with saying that I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I was able to breastfeed this long, that I'm still able to continue to breastfeed. I definitely don't take it for granted. And I just hope and pray that if you're on this journey that you're not stressed out too much, that it does get better, things do get established, if you can make it past the first 6 to 8 weeks. It is pretty hard at the start because the feedings are all over the place. You're waking up through the night feeding, you don't know if they're actually hungry or if they're just comfort nursing or looking for something to suck on. That was my daughter. And then there's that whole confusion with the pacifier. You don't know if they want the pacifier or you don't know if they're hungry. All I'm saying is I still don't know, but we made it through and Grace gained weight perfectly. So just trust your body and get professional help from a doctor, from a lactation consultant if you're like just freaking out, because it's the facts that will keep you going. I had my pediatrician laugh in my face when I thought that I wasn't producing enough, because she was like, honey, your newborn has gained 3 pounds in 2 weeks. She's eating just fine. And I really needed to hear that advice because I was so stressed out thinking that I wasn't making enough. So get the facts from the experts and then just trust that your body will do the rest. I need to take care of this grouchy baby, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.